Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to our Year 7 induction event, which is being broadcast live from the Buttery at Reading Bluecoat. Many of you will already know me. I'm Jane Jarrett, Director of Admissions and Marketing, and I have a number of my colleagues here with me this evening, but of course they're all distancing very safely. So I have Mr. Thomas, who's our new headmaster, of course, from September, Mrs. Claire Dance, Director of Lower School, Mrs. Crossland, Head of Year 7, Mr. Wilson, Director of Sport, Mr. Muller, Director of Drama, and last but by no means least, Mr. Meehan, our Director of Music, who's also been helping us with the technical production of this event. So thank you very much, Mr. Meehan. Under normal circumstances, we would be assembled in the sports hall and you'd all be live in front of us. And our tutor team would be joining us too, but for practical reasons, that's not possible this evening. Instead, Royal Mail permitting, the boys will receive a letter tomorrow morning from their tutor by way of introduction. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce you to our new headmaster for September 2020, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you very much, Jane, and may I add my welcome to Jane's, and thank you all so much for logging in for our time together this evening. I think it goes without saying that this is not how we had envisaged this evening to run, but a lot has changed in recent months, and having well-worked examples of what it means to be resilient and flexible is something of a silver lining to lockdown. I'm conscious that as you tune in from your homes, your experiences of this pandemic will be quite varied. I hope, boys, that however life has been in virtual school, or is now that perhaps you're back in real school with your friends and teachers, you'll have learned many useful things that stand you in good stead for coming to Bluecoat in the near future. When I spoke to you all in the sports hall at the end of February, a long time ago it seems now, I mainly addressed your parents. So this evening I'd like to say a few words to you, boys. I remember arriving on my first day at secondary school. I walked through the gate with some friends from my primary school in Horsham and stood in a huddle of familiar faces until the bell sounded and we lined up. There were dozens and dozens of people that I didn't know, mostly looking very smart with one or two rogues with top buttons undone. It wasn't a good look. Looking back, I realised that all of us were nervous and excited as we started on this adventure together. And very quickly, I, as I know will be true of you too, made lots of friends and loved my time at school. There are three things that I'd like you to remember from what I say this evening and to put into practice when you're here. And the first is this, very simply, I want you to work hard. Work hard. You'll have been told this many times, I am sure. You're all bright boys. You've done well to pass the tests and to gain a place amidst a lot of competition. But this is the beginning of your time at Bluecoat, and whilst you're here, I want you to love your lessons, to be inspired in the classroom, and to love learning too. I want you to try your hardest as you work at school and as you work at home. You'll understand, I am sure, that hard work will help you to unlock doors in the future that would otherwise remain shut. But you should realise too that the process of working hard is as important as the outcome itself. It's a great thing to stretch our minds, to answer questions, to test ideas, to debate views, and it's a good thing to get things wrong. Never be scared to have a go and to get it wrong. You'll learn so much. So work hard. But if you only worked hard, you'd be missing out. So play hard too. There is so much on offer for you to try here. Outside of the normal lessons, there's drama, music, sport. They're here in abundance. Lego robotics, chess, drone club, climbing club, public speaking, house competitions, trips galore. Work hard in your studies and play hard too. You see, as you get stuck in to all that is on offer, you'll learn the value of teamwork, putting others before yourself. You'll be physically stretched, you'll learn new skills, and you'll have enormous fun as you work with others towards a common goal, making and strengthening friendships that will last you a lifetime. But you've got to get yourselves involved, inside and outside of the classroom. Grasp those opportunities that come your way. So work hard, play hard. They're two essentials that will help you to thrive here. But our school is a community, and if we simply thought about ourselves as we went about our work or as we took part in activities, we would miss out on so much, and we would miss developing an essential characteristic that will not only help you to thrive here, but to shine too. And that's kindness. I want and expect everyone here to be kind. The dictionary will tell you that kindness is the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate towards others. Whatever you're doing here each day, look around you and see how can you help to be a friend to those around you. The way that we talk to one another and treat one another speaks volumes about our character. And when you leave Bluecoat in that blink of an eye, 7 years' time, hopefully with results to be proud of and countless fantastic memories of opportunities that you have seized, I hope it is also that you leave with lifelong friends, those who will say of you, you always gave to those around you. Boys, I cannot wait to see you soon. Work hard, play hard, be kind, get practicing. Thank you very much. Jane.
Good evening to you all, and firstly, can I say a huge congratulations to all the boys who are sat watching at home and maybe watching a little bit later on. Myself and Mrs. Crossland, the head of Year 7, are really excited to meet you and take you through the journey over the next couple of years in the lower school. It's a shame we couldn't see you tonight, but I myself saw you in the spring term, or some of you, and it was really fantastic to see some of the boys that I interviewed as well. So I feel that I know some of you already a little bit, but can't wait to find out a little bit more. I'm going to address my speech to all of you, but a little more towards the parents. And I think it's important that you know a little bit about me and what my role is. So I've actually been in the school for 18 years now, so yeah, a long time. And I do know the school very, very well, but most importantly, I feel that I know the pupils in it extremely well, and looking forward to knowing a little bit more about your sons. Sorry, I've just lost my trail of thought there. Okay, so my role as director of lower school is one where I am sort of looking after the academic prowess of your boys, but also and mainly the pastoral welfare of them. And alongside myself and the other members of the team, our priority is to make sure that your boys are feeling happy within school and thriving. So I just want to let you know a little bit about who is in that pastoral team, because it's certainly not me and me alone that actually sort of looks after them. It's a big team, and we're all singing from the same hymn sheet, if you like. The closest person that I work with, who you'll hear from in a second, is Mrs. Crossland, and she's a fantastic head of year. Nothing is too much trouble for her. So if there are issues around your son, and you're not sure who you should speak to, the tutor might not be available, Mrs. Crossland is definitely someone that you can just pick up the phone to or email, and together we will try to work out a solution. The other most important people for your son, I would say, are the tutors. And unfortunately, they would have had that opportunity to meet with the tutors this evening. And that's obviously not possible. But over the coming days and weeks, your tutors will be in touch with you, and hopefully we may be able to arrange a group session with your tutor on Teams alongside the other boys that are going to be in the tutor group. So that should hopefully be something to look forward to. We also work with other members of the school quite closely. The medical department is an area that we work closely with, and obviously they're not here this evening. And also Mrs. Berry from Learning Support. We do like to, just make sure that all of our children have the full support that they need when they're in school. And some of the boys, may need that extra little bit of help in school from Mrs. Berry and her team. Unfortunately, Reverend Kate Toogood, our chaplain, couldn't be here this evening. She was going to come and say a few words, but she's not very well. So I thought I'd just let you know what her role is within the school. Again, somebody who we work very closely with in the lower school. She provides a pastoral care as well for the boys and does a weekly chaplaincy session for the lower school during a lunchtime. Many of the boys really enjoy going along to that, and they play lots of games and they eat lots of cake and biscuits, and it's something that staff enjoy going along to as well. But what Reverend Toogood has asked me to also mention to you is it's not just about a chaplaincy for the staff and the pupils. She is also there for parents as well. So if you need to speak to her about anything, then please do pick up the phone and she'd be more than willing to help you out. I'm not going to say too much more, but I would like to just pick up on 2 points which often come up during the course of the year. And the first one that I'd like to address is mobile phones. We often have a number of parents who phone in and wonder what the arrangement is within school for mobile phones and their sons. Within the lower school, it is a slightly different setup. I believe that it's really important that the boys get to talk to one another and they get to play with one another outside during the lunch times and break times. So there are restrictions for the boys with their mobile phones. They are allowed to have them at until 8:15 in the morning, because we have a number of boys who come in earlier than some of the others. So that gives them a little bit of time to perhaps catch up on homework or to just have some time on their phone. Break times, they are not allowed on their phone, and the only time they are allowed on their phone during a lunchtime is between 1:45 and 2 o'clock. I have to admit, though, at that point, there is quite an influx of boys rushing into the lower school common room to play a few games. But for the majority of the time that they're in school, they are outside running around, and it's brilliant to see the boys playing things like manhunt and football out on the back lawn. It really is, it's lovely. The second thing that I would like to address is WhatsApp groups. Can be a little controversial, and over our time, Miss Crossland and I, when we've been working together, would much prefer it if you spoke to us if there was a problem or an issue at home regarding your son or other boys within the school. Please do not go onto WhatsApp groups and talk about other boys within your son's year or other year groups. Please pick up the phone and talk to us. It is really, really important that you do that. We find that the best method in order to get a resolution to something that may be causing your son some difficulties within school or at home is to actually communicate with ourselves, the boys, and the parents. Okay, I'm going to leave it there now, and obviously if there are any questions that you'd like to ask me, please do send them through to Mrs. Jarrett, and I'm more than happy to answer those for you. I'm going to pass you over now to Mrs. Crossland, who is the head of Year 7. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Mrs. Crossland, I'm the head of Year 7. I'm going to be mainly addressing you boys in this part of the talk. Mrs. Dance has already spoken to your parents, and I want to address you myself. I've been working at Bluecoat for 7 years. I teach geology and physics, and I also teach PSHE, and providing the timetable stays as it appears to be at the moment, you'll have me as your PSHE teacher in September, which means I'll have a chance to get to know you all, both pastorally and academically. My primary role in the lower school is to look after all of you. I'm here to work closely with Mrs. Dance, who you just met, but I'm also here to work with your tutors to make sure that the day-to-day worries that being in Year 7 brings get ironed out as quickly as possible. There are many reasons why you might come and find your head of year. Most of them are for good reasons. Occasionally, they're not so happy reasons. My favourite are the happy reasons. I absolutely love celebrating your achievements. I love hearing about the music exams that you've passed and the medals that you've won in sport. I love seeing photos of your puppies and kittens and baby siblings. Make sure that you come and share that exciting information with me. I like to hear about all the fun things that happened in your lessons. I like to hear about the silly things your teachers did that make you laugh and the fun things you've done in your co-curricular activities. I also like to hear what you've got planned at the weekend. A lot of the stuff that makes you you and makes you special are the things that you do in your own time. I'm also here, though, in case things are worrying you. Everybody has worries occasionally, and that's normal. Maybe you aren't sure what lesson comes next. Maybe you're not sure where your lesson is. Maybe you have fallen out with your friends and you need someone to come and talk to about it. Perhaps you feel sad or somebody's upset you. Perhaps you've worried about a forgotten piece of homework. Maybe you left your PE kit on the bus. That happens more than you could imagine. If these things happen to you and you need someone to talk about, please come and share that with us. We are here to help you. You do not need to deal with your worries on your own. Moving to a new school brings new challenges. When you start here, we are not expecting you to have all the skills and habits developed ready for you to be successful at Bluecoat. We're here to help you. We're here to help you learn those skills. Perhaps you're worrying now. Perhaps you're sitting at home thinking about September and you've got some niggles in your head. Perhaps you are concerned about the size of the school. Perhaps you're worried about moving around the school. Maybe you are worried about what to pack on the very first day. Maybe you're not sure which PE kit goes with which sport. There's a lot of PE kit, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure what goes with what. But it's okay. We can help you with that. It is very normal to worry, and you must get in touch with us if you have those kind of concerns. We are a very supportive, friendly school. I know Mrs. Jarrett is going to be sending out a booklet of information. If you can't find what you need in there, please do get in touch. Mrs. Jarrett knows almost everything, but if you want to talk to me particularly, you can contact me by email or by phone and I'd be happy to speak to you. No question is stupid. Try us. We'd be happy to speak to you. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about comes from the Year 7s directly, the boys that I currently see in Year 7. Now, normally in an event like this, I'd have some with me. They would stand up here and talk, and I tell you what, they public speak better than I do. They're amazing. What I did, though, instead of having them with me tonight, is I spoke to them and I asked them, what is it that you think the Year 7s of the future should know? What is it that you wished you'd known before you started here? They had several ideas, and some of them are brilliant. I'm going to share them with you. The first thing is they said not to worry about making friends. You'll find somebody in your tutor group which have interests that you share. And that is definitely true, because Mrs. Dance and Mrs. Jarrett and I spent a long time sorting you into tutor groups so that you would have shared experiences that you could talk about with your peers. They also wanted me to tell you that the Year 8s in your tutor group are not at all scary and really friendly. But they would say that because they're going to be the Year 8s in your tutor group. But I assure you that doesn't make it any the less true. I want you to also know that the school isn't as big as it seems. They told me that within a day or two of running around and accessing their lessons, they knew the school inside out and back to front. It doesn't take long to get to know it. So even though you haven't been here today to meet with us in school, you will get to know it very quickly. The last one I think is the best and the most important. They said you should be yourself, be friendly and be honest. Join the clubs that you really enjoy and don't be embarrassed about the things that give you joy in life. Join those things, because the more honest you are about who you are, the better friends you're going to make, because you'll meet people that have those shared passions. So it's come to the end of me and my time with you. I wish that we were here to meet in person. I wish that you were here to join us now. I wish that we could meet and you could ask me your questions. I'm really looking forward to meeting you in September. I can't wait for you to introduce yourself and for me to start to get to know you. All I want to do now is wish you a very lovely summer, and I look forward to seeing you in September. I'm going to pass you on now to Mr. Wilson, who's the Director of Sport.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to tune in tonight. As Director of Sport, my brief tonight is to give you an overview of what sport looks like at Bluecoat. Hopefully I'll be able to answer a couple of frequently asked questions on evenings like tonight as well. So to start with, the boys will all have a double period of physical education each week and a games afternoon. During their physical education lesson, the main focus will be on understanding why health and fitness is important, as well as supporting the development of fundamental movement. We do this through activities such as health-related fitness, swimming, gymnastics, badminton, hockey and athletics. During these lessons, we'll also discuss the importance of a healthy lifestyle. As you progress through the years, you'll be taught about different types of training, components of fitness, and give you the knowledge of how to leave school confident that you can lead a happy, healthy and, as I say, active lifestyle. The triple period of games afternoons is slightly different. That is more geared towards the building of character. My ambition is that for every pupil to have the opportunity to represent Team RBCS in one way, shape or form, doesn't matter what sport, and it certainly doesn't matter at what level. In Year 7, you will have a first term of rugby, second term of football and third term of cricket. As you progress up through the school, these options open up. In Year 9, you'll get to the opportunity to row. In Year 10, road running athletics. And in Year 11 and into the senior school, you'll get a much broader option of both recreational and competitive options. The expectation of these sports is that for every main sport, so the rugby, football and cricket in Year 7, there will be an after-school training for each of those main games, and there'll also be Saturday fixtures. If you want to participate in those Saturday fixtures, then obviously a commitment to those after-school training is really important. With the current situation that we are in, rugby isn't a guaranteed for September. We are planning for a best case scenario, and the best case scenario for us at the minute is that we could have pre-season rugby at the end of August, and we will have a first term of rugby as tradition stands. However, we also have a plan B, C and D if we can't do that. We will publicise these as and when they become relevant. So, frequently asked questions. Does my son have to represent the school? If I'm being brutally honest, you have chosen to come to Blue Coat for a specific reason, and being part of being a Blue Coat pupil means you buy into everything that we do. Okay, so yes, in simple terms, if selected, the expectation is for your son to represent the school. If there becomes an issue, then obviously we will have a conversation around that. But first and foremost, we want the boys to try their best to be selected, and we want them to represent the school and be proud of doing so. Does my son have to play rugby? That's probably the most other common question I get. And the answer again is yes. However, what you deem to be rugby or what you might perceive to be rugby is very different to what we actually sell as rugby. If your son is an experienced rugby player and he plays club rugby every Sunday, brilliant, we can cater for him. We can also cater for those pupils who have never played any rugby before, and we will introduce them to a game that will offer so much, and we will do that through non-contact, fun activities, and they will only progress as and when they are ready to do so. The final thing for me before I hand over to Mr. Muller, Director of Drama, is that if I haven't been able to answer your questions this evening, if I have left you wanting to know a little bit more, then by all means, please do get in touch. Have a great evening. Over to Mr. Muller.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and our new Year 7 intake that are joining us in September. My name is Mr. Muller, and I'm the Director of Drama at Reading Bluecoat, and I'm exceptionally excited to welcome you all to our school in September. I'm also delighted to announce that as of September, all year groups at Reading Bluecoat will have academic drama as part of their timetable. In Year 7, the boys can expect to have one period of drama with a subject specialist, teaching them both practical and theoretical aspects when looking at dramatic arts. Not only do we offer performance, we're also delighted to share that we have a technical theatre department which also offers lighting and sound opportunities for students who would prefer not to be on the stage performing. We also offer Lambda, and we have a Lambda department where we have 2 peripatetic teachers that come in and offer the private Lambda drama lessons. And there is more information on the Lambda lessons in the induction packs that you should be receiving. Not only do we offer drama at year 7 and 8, obviously the boys can elect to take drama further, year 9, and then also taking it as a GCSE and A-level. Our department is thriving and our numbers are really good. And it's really exciting to lead a department where the boys are so keen to get involved on the stage. From a co-curricular point of view, we stage 3 productions a year, and those vary from large school musical productions, which may allow year 7s and 8s to get involved, depending on the production. In February, we're going to be staging Billy Elliot, which will cater this year for some younger cast members to get involved. More specific to the year 7s and 8s, we stage a lower school production every year which is specifically catered for year 7 and 8, and our vision and focus for that production is mass participation. That production takes place in May, and we usually start rehearsals in spring term. As I said, that's a mass participation production, and we'd really like to see our year 7 and 8 boys taking a risk and getting involved in a production, even if it's just once in their Bluecoat career. It's such an incredible experience that you'll take with you into your future careers. Other than that, I'm exceptionally excited to meet you all in September, and hopefully you'll make your way down to the drama department near the bottom of the school site. And if you have any other further questions, please do get in touch, whether it's Lambda related or drama at Bluecoat. I'm now going to hand over to Mr. Meehan, who is our Director of Music. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Meehan. I'm the Director of Music at RBC, and it's really nice to welcome you here, even though it's not in person. I've got a few things to answer the questions that people normally ask when they meet in person at this evening. First of all, you'll want to know undoubtedly about instrumental lessons. Those of you who've been handing in your forms will have already been letting me know whether you would like to receive lessons in school. Lessons work on a rotational basis, so you're not missing the same lesson each week. And for a second and third instrument, there may also be the opportunity of learning at a lunchtime before or after school. Secondly, of course, you'll want to know all the ways in which you can take part. We have a thriving musical scene here at Bluecoat. In fact, in the second half of the Easter term, we actually have an event pretty much every other week. In fact, if you count it in slightly different ways, we have an event every single week. And one of the examples we could have with that is the Rock and Pop concert, which is called the Spring Spectacular, which is towards the end of the Easter term, probably the penultimate week. Sadly, this year we weren't able to have the Rock and Pop because lockdown started just as we were. So I'm very much hoping that we have a little live performance for you today. Do bear with me. It might be that the technical hasn't been fully sorted out. But you should be seeing, after I finish introducing him, one of our Year 7 stars. He's called Joel Wilson, and he is a multi-instrumentalist. He's going to be performing a classic that I'm sure you all know. It's by Guns N' Roses, and it's called Sweet Child of Mine. He's going to be playing along to a backing track, but that's not cheating, because he actually recorded every single one of the parts in this backing track. So do bear with us. I do hope you'll be able to hear it, and I'm not 100% sure that you will be able to, but hopefully we should now be going live in his living room to Joel Wilson. So, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, you will have to wait till swing into summertime when we will have sorted out those technical problems. I gather you weren't able to hear Joel, but I shall just hand you back to Jane, who will do the closing vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry that you haven't had the pleasure of listening to Joel, because he is a true star in the making, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities for you to enjoy future performances. You should have received by now my email with information about how to log on to our school portal, and my apologies that we had a slight problem with the address. Even though I sent you a correction, the www prefix was still embedded into the address, so please just type that into your browser rather than clicking on the hyperlink. There's been a few questions today about how to actually find everything, so a quick run through. Once you're in the portal, if you click on the My Children tab and then go to Admissions Forms September 2020, which you'll find on the left-hand side of your screen, click on that, and that takes you through to the forms page, and right at the top of that page on the right-hand side you'll find the information booklet. One or two of you have asked for PDF versions, and I will do my best to get that out to you tomorrow, because I know some of you would prefer to actually download that. Thank you to those of you who've already filled in the forms, that's really helpful. But if you could all complete and submit by Monday the 22nd, that would be really helpful. Thank you very much. So there have been a few questions that have come through in advance, so thank you for raising those. And I think most of them have actually been covered by my colleagues this evening. I didn't warn Mr. Thomas that he was going to be asked this question, so I'm going to invite him back and put him on the spot. He won't be able to answer the question, but I'm still going to put him on the spot. But will the school reopen fully in September, Mr. Thomas?
We very much hope so. And we're working on the best case scenario. We don't quite know what how the pandemic, of course, will pan out, and we await guidance from the government, but we're looking forward to seeing as many people's back as is possible. Thank you for that, Jane.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. And of course, the last question really is about laptops. You will be aware that there is an expectation that students will need to have access to laptops with camera and headphones should we need to go to remote teaching again from September. I've spoken to Mr. Zambon, who's head of our IT here at Bluecoat, and he gave me the following advice. In general, any good brand of laptop will be fine, and that includes, and there's no preferences here, Lenovo, HP, Dell or Acer. But he's also said that when we're dealing with Year 7, you might like to look at securing a second-hand piece of equipment. The refurbishment that's done by some of the blue chip companies might be a cheaper option for you. He was very keen to stress that there is no need for Apple equipment, particularly given the price. So a second-hand laptop will be absolutely fine. And our curriculum deals primarily with Microsoft Office, Microsoft Teams, Google Chrome, Google Classroom and G Suite. So I hope that gives you enough information to start your shopping list. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings our evening to a close. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to welcoming you and your son to our community at Bluecoat in September, and we hope it will be the start of an exciting and rewarding journey. Please do remember you're very welcome to make a phone call if you've got questions, or you can drop me an email. May I suggest that as I'm one of the few people who will be working through the summer, you might like to address those questions to me, and I will then pass those on to colleagues where appropriate. Please stay safe and good night.